So I'm going to try something. We're going to start doing some video vlogs of a lot of the articles that I write every week. So bear with me for a second, but we're going to start with the barbershop, the vlog that we wrote this week. Okay. So the barbershop. For me, the barbershop was not a place. It was wherever my papa was. Wherever he stood with scissors in hand, that was my barbershop. And without realizing it, that is where I learned how to treat people. Sometimes that meant his narrow black and white floors and tiles, the hum of his clippers, and the red, white, and blue poles swirling outside his door. Other times that may have meant his kitchen chair being pulled out from the table with a towel tucked into my collar and hair falling to the floor while he worked. And then I would sleep up afterwards pretending I was helping. That location may have changed, but the ritual did not. Wherever he stood, people felt at ease. That was the constant. The upside was I was the oldest grandchild. And the oldest grandchild gets to know their grandparents often before time reshapes them. You meet them in their stride, and you meet them when they're filled with their habits, and they're able to move through the world when life still bends around them instead of the other way around. My papa was a barber, and for the better part of the first 30 years of my life, he was my barber. And at the time, he would give me haircuts, and it would feel more like a convenience. And only later did I realize that it was an education. It is funny how people say to you after they're passing, the things that they say to you can quietly take root and then just stay there waiting for years before you notice how it influences you. I would sit in his chair or on the kitchen stool, and if we were at his home, and he would look at me and say, "Hey, you have such nice hair. Why would you want to cut it so short?" And I would explain with the certainty of what a teenager or a younger man could have said, that spiky hair was in style. And he would nod and disagree and cut it just a little longer than I would have asked. Longer, he believed, was better. Of course he was right, but it took me decades to admit that. As I got older, he would tell me that it would look good with me in a mustache. I never connected the suggestion to the fact that he had worn one nearly his entire life. It was neat and deliberate and part of his identity in the same way as scissors and a comb were. Years after he passed, my hair is now longer than it's ever been, and I have a mustache. And that is the power of influence. It rarely announces itself. It settles into you and waits patiently. And one day you realize you're carrying something forward without even trying. Papa's shop, when I was there, would feel like a small world. It had that black and white tiles and a pattern that seemed older than both of us. You had the old school barber chair that creaked when you would enter and sit in it, and conversations just moved easily there. People did not just come for haircuts. They would come to be seen, they would come to talk, and they would come to sit in a place where someone knew their name, knew their story, and knew the last thing they had been worried about. But the same thing happened in his living room kitchen when I was there, or any space that he occupied. He had a way of turning ordinary rooms into a place where people would feel comfortable enough to exhale. There was no performance to it. He didn't try to impress you. He simply made space. He looked at you like you mattered, and for that moment, you did. I loved him very, very much. And as he retired, he stopped cutting hair for most people, but he kept me as one of his customers, the upside of being his grandchild. I did not have to book an appointment to see him, and I did not have to pay either. I just showed up. And that kind of access, the kind of trust that you get feels ordinary in the moment, but when it's gone can feel extraordinary. It is strange the things that we miss after someone leaves us. It's not grand gestures, but some of the small certainties that we miss the most. The feeling of walking into a place where we are known. It's the comfort of sitting down and understanding that person in front of you is there for you and has you without any kind of explanation. I miss the ease of a cup of coffee or pulling up a chair with him around his kitchen table. The credible thing about people who truly shape us is that their impact does not diminish after they're gone. It grows. It matures inside us. And so when I was younger, I thought I had outgrown many of his lessons. I thought I had known better. I felt like I didn't need another story or another piece of advice or another gentle correction. And now, as I've gotten older, I would do anything to have just one more talk with him. Wisdom is often wasted on the young, not because they are incapable, but because they often do not need the wisdom that comes with age, as of yet. What I've learned most from my grandfather was not about hair, it was about people. I talk often in my videos about presence and gravitas and purpose, but we do not speak enough about warmth. When I think about what is most influential to me when I think of someone of influence, I do not think about what they've accomplished. I think about how I felt when I was around them. Did I feel seen? Did I feel safe? Did I feel respected? Influence in its truest form is not about attention. It is about impact. It is about the quiet authority that comes with integrity and consistency and genuine care. My grandfather did not have followers. He had relationships. He did not chase visibility. He created belonging for the people in his lives. Papa made people feel at home. So in medicine, I see this play out every single day. Patients remember how you made them feel long after they forgot the exact words you used to describe something. There are moments when expertise matters when I'm with patients, and there's moments all I can do is sit with them and offer my presence. My grandfather's barbershop prepared me for both of these things. Everything in that chair, everyone who sat in that chair was family. Everyone deserves to feel at home, even for a few minutes. And I feel that way when I take care of patients or I talk to someone on my team. Leadership is not so different. We debate productivity and efficiency and growth, and those things do matter, but communities are built on something much more human. People want to go where they feel valued, they want to work where they are known, and my grandfather understood this instinctively. His presence would say, welcome, you are safe here, you are among friends, and that was not a slogan, it was his responsibility. He used to tell me things like keeping it simple is what's needed. Do not talk down to people. Talk to them in a way that you can understand. Ask people about the things that matter to them. Remember their stories. He understood something many of us have forgotten, that time spending with someone might be the highlight of their day. And when we dismiss the impact of that fact, we are not being humble. We are avoiding the responsibility that comes with mattering to someone. There's a risk of getting close to people. They can leave, they can move, they can pass away. And that pain follows us, and it can be sharp, and it can be deep, just like it hurts me writing this today. And it both is amazing to talk about my grandfather, and it makes me so sad. It would be easier in some ways to say at a distance, but it is hard to matter to people if they do not matter to you. When I think of influence now, I do not picture stages or titles. What I picture is my grandfather, a man with scissors in his hand, sitting in a shop or sitting by his kitchen table. A man who listened more than he spoke, shaping not just hair, but my confidence and connection and the belonging, not just of me, of all the people in all of his life. I see his barbershop. And life, I'm learning, plays out a lot like one of my papa's lessons. In life, we get what we give. So thank you for listening, and have a wonderful rest of your week.